Hi everybody, welcome to today's transmission. Today's transmission we've got three angels who have been coming through in the recent podcast I've been doing, which is the bite-sized channeled messages. Those messages are just direct channel with healing rather than from a neutral space within me, whereas these transmissions, I add in extra information that have come in through messages and synchronicities that are relevant and how that applies to day-to-day life. But these three most recent angels wanted to come in with additional messages. It feels very much led by Ariel, which is really bringing that love energy in, making it accessible to us. And what I'm getting with that is there's a very strong feeling of amping up our self-worth and our self-love throughout this. And these three angels are bringing different elements of the way that self-love can be expressed and the results of that. So with Ariel, that's about, really nurturing our emotional and spiritual and physical well-being through especially nature and animals. With Raphael, it's about nurturing all of that with an emphasis on our physical body and our listening to the intelligence of our physical body, the listening to our intuition to be shown how to nurture ourselves, look after ourselves, and self-love. And with Haziel, it's about really more the spiritual level of just feeling that divine connection of love for self that permeates out into our friendships and our community and how we relate to others. By living from that high vibe love, we can forgive others for their imperfections, their behaviours that came from not being in that connection, their humanity, and we can bring that love and divinity into our connections, our communities, into the places where it's missing, and the word I'm getting is celebrate with those that are of the same vibration and the same mission and the soul tribe. So we're looking at spiritual, emotional, and physical. And though each angel can address all of those, and whole well-being is on all those spectrums, each one is bringing a bit of a theme around that particular level. So with Ariel, really, really been feeling her for quite a while. And I've so much so that I really need to create artworks with her energies. I feel she wants to work much more closely and really bring her divine love and inspiration and through into physical products so they can be received through that way. The high vibrational energy in those products like coasters and mugs and things where you can really receive those into your digestive systems, into your physical being, into your energy field. So I'm creating quite a few of those. I've seen for a while one of my angel tea light holders, I've seen it in those colours and I've felt that vibration and I realise now that that's her. So I'm about to start creating that one, and a 3D art piece has also come through, which I've almost finished, and that, as I said, will go onto some mugs and things, so really bring these frequencies through into the physical world, the tangible physical world you can touch. Raphael, the first time I ever experienced Raphael consciously, I was I was in incredible pain one day, terrible pain, excruciating pain, and I couldn't take painkillers and there was nothing I could do. It was so much so that I was writhing in agony and hyperventilating, just so much pain. And it was about 4 or 5 in the morning and I was thinking about how I could get myself to the emergency department or what I could do, because I couldn't help myself with painkillers or anything. I would just vomit them straight back up again. And I screamed out from the center of my being, "No!" And at that point, the symptoms completely disappeared. And I was shocked, even being a healer. I was a Reiki master at that point already. And had already, been connected to my natural healing abilities and empathy. But I was still shocked by that instant, sudden, amazing healing. There was no pain, nothing. And from that shock, I said, who did that? Who's there? And I had this sudden taste, smell and vision of one of those sweets, one of those chocolates called Raffaello. And I was like, oh my goodness, it is Raphael. And I've always felt this connection to Raphael since that point. Someone he's an angel that you can call on. And I feel his message today is very much about listening to that inner voice, having that greater level of awareness to call for help when you need it, but also to pay attention to the messages and the signs and the signals telling you how to look after yourself. You're there, you're supported. Allow yourself to pay attention and listen to the intelligence of your own body, but also to your physical senses and your higher senses. And again, this is what came through in the recent podcast transmission. I'll put the links for all of those below. They're all related to this. I found after that transmission, after receiving those light codes myself, I suddenly had this strong desire to declutter, to get rid of some things that I can see also perhaps were not that healthy, having them in my environment. Things like the cat litter tray that was difficult to clean. I found myself wanting to go for a walk outside, which also was from Ariel, Miracle of Nature, to a shop and just replace those things that were not particularly healthy or good with healthier versions. I also felt the need to buy specific vitamins. It was just an urge coming from inside. And I always pick up the bottle and I feel it and I think, and I tune into, how does this feel in my body? Is this right for me? Is this what my body needs? Is there something in it my body doesn't want or couldn't digest? And I feel either an expansion or a contraction. Sometimes I feel something happen in my digestive system or the rest of my body. And I can get a really good sense of whether that product is aligned and harmonious with me, and also whether my body wants it or not. So you can ask your body, is this in my highest good? And you get a yes or no. Is this going to help me? Because if you get kind of a neutral feeling from that, then your body could accept it, but it's not going to really do you any good. So really tuning into that level. And you usually find, similar to the way you pick tarot cards or something, things light up for you. You see them out of all of those products on the shelf. You see the ones that are relevant for you. They stand out to you somehow. They have a bit of a charge. You can even pick them like you pick tarot cards. Put your hand out, feel where there's warmth or heat. And then once you've found it, pick it up, hold it in your hands and feel into, is this what my body wants? And if you're having trouble with that, call Raphael. He wants you to call him. He wants to help you be in balance, alignment, health and wellness on every level. And he wants you to be able to hear when he's giving you messages, and so do all of the angels. Okay, so now to Ariel, the emotional body. I just feel so much love coming through. I want to cry. She's so beautiful. So I have really felt the need to go out into nature after the transmission and the light codes from her. And really noticing how much the beauty of nature affects me on all levels. The visuals of the flowers being out and the sun shining feeds my soul through the visuals. And the feeling of the energy and the sounds of the birds. Even if you think about those things, you feel better without even going outside. But I felt a need to clean the windows in my conservatory and beautify my garden after that. And what a difference that made to how I felt when I get up in the morning and I look outside and I can see clearly through the window out to the greenery and the flowers. And it felt so good being out there. Being out in nature grounds you. And that's really important because grounding clears away all of that effects from 5G and computers and televisions and electrics and getting our feet on the ground, getting our hands into the dirt, and just making things look beautiful is satisfying in itself. There's also been weeds in the garden that I've found it very therapeutic to pick out the weeds, but to do it consciously, like I'm weeding the garden of my consciousness and the garden of my energy field, and pulling out and honouring the weeds that I'm pulling out, because all life is precious, but honouring them for their presence and just being aware that they're growing in the wrong place right now, and then putting them somewhere where them breaking down, they feed and nourish the ground for new plants to grow. And what I've found is that results on many levels of my life a cleaning out of things that are no longer needed or that aren't in the right place to be harmonious with my being and my life, and removing them in a conscious way. So decluttering, giving things away, giving them to charity, putting them on Facebook free community groups and things like that. And so yeah, the angels just really telling me they want us to know how their messages translate into 3D. So these three in particular, like into our day-to-day life, how they can help us when we receive those codes. And I just want to remind you that each time you listen to light language, you'll receive whatever you're ready to receive at that time. Once that's integrated, you can then listen again and you'll get the next layer of what was delivered in that one message. And then the same again, you do that until there's a neutrality and you no longer feel like you want to listen to that transmission anymore. Then you've got what you need. Although you may come back another 12 months later or something and it might feel relevant again. So Haziel wants to emphasize the point that came through about our connections with others. So as we forgive those that we have disharmony with for whatever's happened, and we connect the part of ourselves that is unconditionally loving and recognizes those people as a soul who's going through a 3D day-to-day life experience where they're not necessarily connected to their true wisdom, but they're having soul learning, soul experiences, and understand that those challenges that come up are learning experiences for everybody involved, and they often come together from a soul contract to teach us something. Once we've learned that, we can repair by connecting to that love. We can repair from whatever we've learned that was harsh, that maybe felt like it caused trauma or damage or leaks in our energy fields. And when we do that, it takes us higher and it connects us to, once we've learned that lesson, we don't need to repeat it. There may be layers of it that get repeated if there are elements that we didn't fully digest or incorporate, or if we were still holding on to blockages and resentments. So the more that we can heal that, the more that we can let go of the hurts and the pains and connect to that unconditional love and forgiveness, the more that the people we draw around us are people that have also learnt those lessons. They don't need to learn those lessons. So they're not going to... so for example, if it was betrayal or mistrust or something that you were learning about, and then you were attracting people into your life that taught you about that, your ultimate soul journey is to master that you no longer need to learn about that. And so as you do that, you graduate as such to friends and co-workers and lovers in your environment who also have graduated past that learning, and they're resonating at the same frequency. There's also a resonance attraction. Akatatatia tatia katia tatia katia katia kaka. Akatatatia tatia tatatatia tatakoko. Akatatatatata. Okay. Raguel, who I just did the transmission for him as well. He wants to come in at the base underneath Ariel. Atatati takakatati takakakatuko. Akatatati takakakatatatata. Akatatata. Akatatati takakakako. He's talking about unity and how all of those are related, and you go a level higher, and then we're at this unity consciousness level, which is what he was talking about in the transmission, about being able to bring that creative divine force through into your life. And as you navigate from that place that we're all connected, so it's obviously a follow-on from the Trustworthy Friends Haziel message about community and relationships, is that we're all connected. And the more we can all be connected to that divine source, that divine flow that moves through us all, through our spiritual, emotional and physical bodies, we can honour any other individual flow and their inspiration and their soul journey and what they're learning, and we can allow them to do that without interference and without our thoughts or judgments or ideas about how they should be living their lives. Additionally, we become immune to that kind of interference from others, and we also stop attracting that into our lives because we are resonating at a vibration of divine plan and divine flow, where we know that everybody has their part to play and everybody is guided by a divine force. Atatati takaka. This creates a trust in the big plan and your part in it, which has, Raguel's saying it has profound repercussions, but repercussions in a positive way, like ripple effects, profound effects throughout the whole 3D paradigm, the 3D matrix, and it helps elevate us up to the next matrix. Yep, that's the message. Okay. So though there was not a lot of light language in that, there was frequency coming through the messages, so I hope you could feel that. And whether you can feel it or not, you still can receive it. If you would like to know a bit more about the artworks that's coming through Ariel, related to Ariel, stay on, and I will take you through a very brief explanation. Otherwise, blessings everybody. See you next time. So some of you may have seen I've created these angels from air dry clay. We put a candle inside and a flameless candle, and the light emanates out through them. But they're energized with light codes, one around harmony and balance, and the other about alignment and peace. And there is another one that's already sold, which was about heaven on earth, which was a turquoise angel. So there's another one coming through, and she's Ariel, and she's going to be golds and pinks and opalescent whites with I keep wanting to say amber, but citrine, possibly amber, maybe some opalite crystals on her. So she has some rose quartz, and she's about to have an upgrade with a bit of opalite as well. This is the first abstract style Ariel painting that came through the 5-minute transmission on the podcast. So she's transparent, she's etheric, with golden hair, and her wings, she has 6 wings. This one's on another dimensional level, and they have 3D love hearts, so we can see the love hearts coming out in 3D. So in our physical reality, what we would see if she was passing by would be love hearts. And I see there are a lot of people who see love hearts everywhere, and they are on the path of love, and I feel that Ariel is guiding them through love hearts, and the other angels too, but this one's particularly about that. This has some crystals on it, and she's spreading light codes. I'm going to put some florals on as well. She's spreading light codes of love and divinity. She's associated with the moon. There is a lion up here. You can see the nose and the mouth and the eyes. I'm going to bring that forward. And there's a swan here, which I'm going to emphasize and bring forward. So yeah, keep an eye out. There will be various ways you can receive those codes if you feel connected. Blessings everybody.